Oh, this is bad coffee. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little late.
Terrible.
Woo, we're back, baby. We're back.
Did anyone miss us? Did anyone know we weren't here?
I got messages from nobody.
Oh.
I didn't get one message that said, we miss you, we love you, come back soon.
Look, as a podcast listener, it gets overwhelming, the amount of podcasts. So maybe it's nice to have a break from us.
That's less good for us than bad for us, though.
Yeah, I might be right. Live from Glass Lewis's backgammon patio. They're doing backgammon still? Is backgammon woke or anti-woke?
Does anybody play Who plays backgammon?
I do. I mean, I do at Glass Lewis. When I'm at Glass Lewis
when you're at the patio.
I play.
Yeah, right.
It's the ESG industry's only weekly woke data podcast.
This is true.
We're the only ones.
That's true.
Featuring BS man Matt Moscardi.
Are we strictly woke data anymore? Or are we anti? Are we anti woke data now?
We like all data. We like data. Correct. Right? It's not. Yeah. I mean, I think our point of view is that data can't be woke. Your weird ramblings and theatrical blabbering can be woke or not woke, but just data.
You calling me weird and theatrical?
Not you. The collective you.
Okay, all right. I'm sensitive.
Vivek Ramaswamy, those types.
Come back on the show, Vivek. Lots to talk about.
In today's effervescent solid goo. Actually, that's what MSCI is thinking of renaming ESG. That's their proprietary. That's the number one choice right now. Effervescent solid goo. That's what they're thinking to deal with EU regulators. I have inside information.
I think they'll trick them with that.
I was at a party last night with CEO Henry Fernandez, and he told me that's what they're working on. That's the current plan.
The exclusive here on Which is
surprising in two ways. First of all, it's surprising that I'm hanging out with CEO Henry Fernandez of MSCI.
That's correct.
Second of all, it's even more surprising that I'm hanging out with him on July 4th. That would mean I'm in his special... To hang out with him on July 4th means I'm in a special group, right?
Were you fishing?
Friends and family.
Together, yeah.
Does he fish?
No, I'm sure he does not fish. He does not look like he fishes.
Today's show called July 5th, 2023. Headlines we missed. We've been gone for a while. So all the headlines we missed, an anti-woke update from Matt, and a word from our sponsor.
That's right. Let's get right to it because there's a lot here.
Our show today is being sponsored by S-Gage, your ESG data solutions provider. Paul will be stopping by later to talk about the top 20 increases in CEO perks. That's very specific, Paul.
Yeah.
The top 20 increases.
The increases, but not in just their perks.
Yeah, just in the perks. Well, perks are really, those are for any of you out there who've spent any time in a proxy statement, the perks are the kind of the funnest part of the whole damn thing.
I know. It is fun on a yearly basis to talk about like Mark Zuckerberg's security detail expenses.
2.3 million this year on flights, on jet travel.
Holy moly.
Yeah. All right, come on. Let's do it. All the shit we missed. Come on.
Go ahead, do it.
Oh, you already played me in?
I already played you in.
In no particular order, as you know, Matt, because that would take an extra level of brain activity that I don't have. July 3rd, that's 2 days ago. This is the headline. July 3rd was the world's hottest day ever recorded.
Wow. That's not great.
No.
The highest ever recorded. We cracked 1.5 degrees Celsius already.
United CEO Scott Kirby forced, this is according to this headline, I don't know, forced to apologize for taking private jet after airlines cancels hundreds of flights. He said, taking a private jet was the wrong decision because it was insensitive to our customers who were waiting to get home.
I don't know about this one.
I like this one.
I don't know.
So United canceled 1/4 of its schedule, 750 flights, but he hopped on a private jet.
Yeah, but like,
you should force. Come on, you should force him to fly
look,
United.
what's the point of paying that guy like $20 million a year if you can't get on a private jet when you need to get somewhere? Look, isn't the point of these flights, you have to pay to like wear shoes on the flight at this point. Like you have to pay for everything. You want 1 inch more space, it's $100. It's a $40 upcharge. You want to bring a bag anymore, you get charged $100. If you can't afford to take a private jet, then yeah, you're going to be sitting in the airport waiting around for the planes to fly again.
Or your
it's not
flight will
Scott
be
Kirby's
canceled
fault capitalism
outright.
exists. Come on.
Is this like Tim Cook using a Samsung Galaxy 27.49e or something? Is this?
I don't
Come
know.
on, Scott.
Well,
hop on United. Come on.
was a United air pilot flying the private jet? In which
Ooh,
case, then
interesting.
no.
Subway ad. We don't talk about Subway anymore. Subway ad gets slammed for mocking Titan sub tragedy. The ad outside one of its stores said, "Our subs don't implode."
Ooh. They got mocked for that? Well,
Now, ostensibly, this is just one franchise. My question is, in the coming days, will Subway apologize? Is this a pre-apology, or are they going to blow this one off?
I don't know. There's enough people who don't care about the
You're one of them.
Titan. I mean, look, it was $250,000 a ticket
Yeah.
to go down in a well-documented, not safe venture
A horrible dark corridor of liquid.
in which the company running it was documented to not be safe. They were using a Logitech, like a video game controller,
Gamepad controller.
to pilot the
I'm
thing.
laughing because it is funny to me.
It is like it's a parody of itself. So I don't know.
It's a satire.
I'm
of-
not saying
of
this
rich
is
people.
like a sensitive joke.
No, but if one were writing a film, satirizing the wealthy, this scene
It would look a
probably be in
little
it.
like this, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean, it would, honestly, yes.
I mean, even James Cameron had like a moment where he was on every news channel talking about how unsafe this was. Like James Cameron, the filmmaker, is a
Yeah. What do you mean, even James Cameron? How dare you?
I mean, like, what is that guy? Has he built this? He's a professional submersible builder.
He's a well-known vegan. Thursday, tomorrow, Matt, Meta is launching its Twitter rival called Threads. Can I just say what I like about this? This is from the BBC. First, they say Instagram owner to launch Twitter rival. Then it says Facebook owner Meta is launching it. But there, I mean, come on.
No, it's Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
It's one guy. He's
And talk
running
about
it.
just confusing branding even within the world of journalism. From going from Instagram owner to Facebook owner Meta. I don't know. You're just too much, BBC. Just call us.
Well, it's really easy to never say Mark Zuckerberg because he's given the company 7 different names, right? Like it's WhatsApp, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's Meta. So it's like Oculus Rift. Like it would be easier to just say Mark Zuckerberg says, but he's confused everyone into like naming individual companies. It's brilliant.
I find this one a bit odd, Matt, because kind of like the Bud Light discussion where I'm trying to figure out if I should drink Bud Light because would that be pro Dylan Mulvaney? Would it be pro anti-woke?
Pro Dylan Mulvaney.
Wait, if all the anti-woke, if all the haters, all the gay bashers hate Bud Light, should I drink Bud Light to support Bud Light? I'm confused.
No.
It's like, but this is why it's similar to me. Because I hate Elon Musk so much and I hate Twitter so much. Should I support Threads? I'm kind of pro Mark Zuckerberg on this one. Oddly,
I know. Well, I
feel like I want it to destroy Twitter. I'm like looking forward to it.
I was talking to somebody. Twitter simultaneously will be launching pay to read Twitter. So now they're going to limit what you can see in your feed. And
They've
after
already
a certain
done that,
point,
yes.
You
Yeah.
have to pay. So Zuckerberg's not going to do that, right? Because he doesn't need to. And I was talking to somebody and I was like, when you've gotten to the point when you're happy about an alternative to one terrible tech bro
That's me.
with
Yeah.
another terrible tech bro.
I know, it's confusing. I know.
Then the problem might be the terrible tech bros. It might not
Well,
be.
I got it. Yeah, but to be fair, Mark is nowhere near as terrible as Elon. At least like in the public in the public eye.
That's like saying
he might be hiding more.
Donald Trump isn't as bad as Vivek Ramaswamy. What are we talking about here? Like,
I think Donald is worse. No, actually, it is confusing. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
At what point do we stop and say, like, okay, it's just objectively terrible. Like, we shouldn't be on any of them. So just stop.
Here's a headline you would never have seen even a year ago. This is out of Reuters. Disney's diversity chief, Latondra Newton, leaves firm. That never would be a headline.
No.
Even naming her is amazing. This is a chief diversity officer at Disney. And of course, the anti-woke media, the New York Post, has its own spin saying that she exits after woke policies controversy. There's nothing to support that.
Nothing says that, yeah. She was there for 6 years.
Which seems like a long time to be somewhere where no one is paying attention to you.
Not only that, but like it strikes me, it feels a little Chick-fil-A-ish in which people started boycotting Chick-fil-A because of someone they hired 2 years ago, right? Like now we're taking credit for someone leaving after a decent tenure at a company because of like the anti-woke, or is it possible she was just like, I've done this for a little while, let's go do something else?
We're going to talk about this on Friday. I attended the Collision Tech Conference in Toronto last week. I went to many master classes, they were called, about DEI at major companies, okay?
Master classes.
Yeah, they're called master classes. And I will tell you that I can understand why someone like Latondra Newton would want to leave Disney, because from what I'm hearing is that nobody cares. No one, there is no buy-in to chief diversity officers anywhere.
Can I also ask, don't they have master classes? You can get a master's in something like diversity or like African American studies or gender studies, like LGBTQ study. Like there are actually master's classes.
Yeah.
Are we watering down the idea when it's like a diversity officer from a company talking for 45 minutes of what a master class is? Did you learn anything?
I think the real question you're trying to ask is, was I the only white man in the room? The answer is yes, absolutely.
In which case, you're the only one who might have learned something.
Yes. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says he's officially retiring ESG as an investing term. I thought we'd get some applause from the audience.
I mean, look, the problem is we were literally first on this train.
Yeah, we failed. We failed
4 years ago on this show, because this show is actually old. We've been doing this for a long time.
We started when the pandemic started. Coincidence?
It feels 2019 or 2019.
COVID-19,
we launched.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this a while. Our first set of shows, we talked about how we needed to kill the acronym. That was like a big deal for us.
We failed.
We failed miserably. And now I sort of want to reclaim the acronym.
This is just like Bud Light. This is just like the Bud Light thing. Do we, because everyone hates ESG, should we now love ESG?
I don't know. I hate the acronym, but I also am forced to embrace it now because it's just data. And I just want to say now, retiring the term that doesn't do the thing, right? Like they don't like you because you're a Jewish man. They don't like you.
He said he's not going to use the phrase ESG anymore because it's become too weaponized by both sides. I mean, he's both siderizing this. I mean, really, like, our side has weaponized the term? It's not accurate.
I mean, we were part of that problem, if anybody listened to this, about killing the acronym. But we didn't weaponize it. We didn't weaponize it.
He said he's ashamed of being part of this conversation. That I believe.
He doesn't.
Speaking of this, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is being trolled with mobile billboard mocking recent ESG comments. This is from the geniuses over at the Consumers Research Group. Okay. And by the way, yet another anti-woke, anti-ESG group that is all white men. They're good at that. They're really good at that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
they say that they are on notice. So they have two billboards. Both, of course, feature pictures of Larry Fink, because if you're going to be weirdly anti-ESG, anti-globalist, anti-Semitic, you got to have a picture of the Jewish man that you're attacking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, when you create a villain, you have to put his picture up there.
Yeah. Don't you usually color them like red too? Isn't there, or put them in like a evil suit?
And that's what they did. Are you saying that because you saw the picture? Because there was a picture of Larry Fink in an evil red suit mopping sweat off his eyebrow. Yeah, that's one of the pictures. And the other one is him in a suit saying BlackRock, ESG, but we call it conscientious capitalism. I don't know what the hell.
What are we talking about? That's the troll. That's the troll.
Is it? Yeah. Is it a troll to be conscientious?
No. Here's the funniest part about that troll. When you poll the American public, 98% of them don't know what ESG is, right?
Yeah,
so,
99 don't know what BlackRock is, and 99.5 don't know who Larry Fink is.
So you are trolling the 0.01% of people who know what all those things. Who are they?
I think they're trolling us, thinking that.
Really? Is it just the two of us?
Maybe.
It's literally for us. But they at the bottom of those little things, those little mobile billboard ads, which are just viral. They're trying to be viral memes. It says visit aboutblackrock.com. Have you visited aboutblackrock.com?
No. I might later.
They made a website that looks exactly like the BlackRock website, with a picture of President Xi on the front, and talks about BlackRock being a champion of forced behaviors, China's best friend, running Biden's economy, and then gives warnings about them, and then asks you to donate to consumer research. So
it's great.
It's
speaking of us, next headline, because we track this kind of data. Harvard's legacy admission standards are facing a renewed challenge in the wake of the Supreme Court action gutting affirmative action. This is based on internal university data that illustrates that white applicants overwhelmingly benefit from the current standards.
Of legacy?
Of legacy and of donor-related applicants.
I mean, we don't in this country like women or people who are brown. I don't.
You want them to come out and say that? Do you want them to admit that?
Why do we bother with like these like, you know, like we're gonna knock down this little rule, we're gonna knock down that little rule, everything's woke, we're gonna run on a anti-woke platform. Why not just say, ladies, brown people, we don't like you, and we're just going to find voters who also don't like you.
Most of us, I think, are wise enough to hear that message. When you accumulate all their actions. How about this one, Matt? Some U.S. cities are allowing corporations to vote in local elections. Seaford, Delaware is the latest, seeking to give business entities the right to vote in local elections.
That's literally the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. A corporation is a collection of human beings. In fact, our whole business here at Free Float, Free Float Analytics, the whole business is to put people back in the corporation. We measured the people, their power, their performance. We start with the board. We're adding management. Why do we need to give then the fake mythic entity of a corporation the ability to vote? There are already people there. They can do that.
And will eventually that lead to like super voting rights? Like, will it just be one vote they'll get, or will they figure out a way to have like a Mark Zuckerbergian level of voting power?
Imagine if the corporation itself wants to vote one way, and then that's the CEO decides that, because that really the super majority vote is the CEO, because the CEO then gets two votes, right? Their vote and whatever they make the corporation vote.
Interesting.
And imagine
it's like Survivor. I like that.
When you're like a mid-level manager at a company in Seaford and you say, I want to vote the other way. Like, does that mean I lose a job? Does that mean, does my company know? They can look up the voting records. What does that mean? Like, do I have to vote the way the company votes if I want my benefits? could this be a stupider idea?
I'm just excited that Delaware is in the news. Apple just eclipsed a $3 trillion valuation. A few things that Apple is worth more than Matt. China's entire stock market.
Wow.
That includes over 2,000 companies with a combined value of $2.5 trillion. France's entire economy. That's $2.8 trillion. And the combined value of the bottom 200 companies in the S&P 500. Think about that.
Nice. Yeah. The S&P 500.
It's crazy talk, though. It's
the
really
S&P
crazy
5.
talk.
Like, what do we need other companies for at this point?
Right? I mean, it is just absolutely ludicrous. How about this one? Shares of famous artwork are going public for the first time with a top paintings IPO expected to draw $55 million. This is an IPO led by Artex with shares only available on a specially made art stock exchange.
I like this.
Now, I like this too, actually. And they're actually starting with one of my favorites, which is a triptych from Francis Bacon. My question to you, Matt, is can we cover these IPOs? How can we cover them in our database, in our free float analytics database? That's an excellent question.
Maybe we need power and influence of every artist, like famous artists. I like this because you've taken a opaque market and made it transparent. And in order to be listed, ostensibly, you need some sort of disclosures. Can you imagine the art disclosures? Like, what do you have to disclose about the artists themselves? Or like there's when it was painted and is it authentic and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But do we need to know like which ear Van Gogh cut off? Like,
I think we might, yes.
Do we need to know like was this artist woke or not? So we know which ones to boycott.
What I'm really excited about is the shareholder meetings, about like maybe like a vote.
Can you imagine?
About like getting a new frame, maybe, or
who's on the board of that artwork?
Yeah, shareholder resolution to lower the painting about 6 inches in the museum.
It's Jean-Michel Basquiat's like graffiti number 5 board of directors. Like, do we vote them in? I love that.
Actually,
everything about this.
I love this for a lot of reasons. Also because I don't know if you've ever wandered into the lobby of a major corporation like Citibank. They own a lot of the great art, so I kind of like that the art, the ownership might actually go back into
imagine that
schmucks' hands like ours. Yeah,
dual class ownership.
How about this article? An online sports book created a range of betting lines for other tech CEO cage fights. We've already talked about the cage fights between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Matt, I'm gonna give you the fight. You tell me who you think is favored to win the fight. Jack Dorsey versus Elon Musk.
Oh, I think Musk is just because he's heavy. He's like heavier.
No, wrong. The betting money is actually on Jack Dorsey, probably because he's younger. I'm guessing, and maybe in shape. Elon Musk looks like profoundly out of shape,
but like yoga shape. He's doing like yoga on paddle boards. Like, doesn't Elon Musk like he'll be eating a burger while sitting on Jack Dorsey?
How about Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella, 2 of our favorite tech CEOs?
Oh, that one. I can't imagine that's got to be like a draw. There's 2 like
give yourself a lollipop. Even money
baby.
On that one, right?
That had to be even money.
Evan Spiegel of Snap versus Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, 100%.
Yep, Zuck. Well, Zuck is pumped up now.
Yeah.
How about this weird one? Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO versus Jensen Huang of NVIDIA.
Jensen Huang does wear a lot of leather jackets now,
and he's kind of big.
He's
much
not
older
tall.
Than
I
Sam.
think he's like husky. He looks like he might wrestle somebody. And Sam Altman seems kind of like a nerdy dude. But if I'm betting what Vegas is going to think, I'd go with Altman because he's younger. That one feels pure young.
Big money is on Altman on that one.
Wow, big money. That's surprising.
Yeah, big money. Mark Benioff at Salesforce versus Tim Cook at Apple.
That's Benioff. Benioff's a husky
Benioff's
dude.
he had a weight advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
Once he could sit on him and just stay there.
Tim Cook would be like, there is no way I'm participating in this and lose by default.
Absolutely agree. And finally, Jeff Bezos, still the executive chair at Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Versus of all people, Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky. I don't know why they care about this matchup.
This has got to be Bezos. I mean, have you seen Bezos?
I would have thought I would have thought, but there's a real good money on Chesky on this one. I don't know why.
Really?
I have no idea. Probably an age thing.
No, I mean,
Bezos is huge now.
he's jacked. He's like
I
a
don't
big
get this
dude.
one. So maybe this is a good one to bet on. Then maybe pick the underdog on this one.
I mean, Chesky looks pretty jacked too. Like, and he's younger.
Okay,
but I
haven't
feel
seen Chesky.
I feel like Bezos, if this fight were on, Bezos would like be training with like laser guided drones to be the best. Like so.
True.
Yeah. This is the stupidest thing we've ever covered.
Yes. Speaking of stupid, and speaking of Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky, who we don't ever talk about, he says that this is the loneliest time in human history and we need to rebuild physical community. I just wanted to point out how ironic this is. Having just traveled for about a week, I stayed in hotels. The main reason why I stay in hotels is because there are people there. There are restaurants, lobbies. I like that atmosphere. I like talking to the people who work there. I like talking to people in the lobbies. I feel less lonely in hotels. That's why I stopped going to Airbnbs. I feel like a dope when I go to a city and I just go to someone's stupid apartment and I stare
And you never leave it.
at their closet. Yeah, it doesn't feel it's lonely.
Yeah, you like order DoorDash and you don't leave the dumb apartment. Yeah.
So congratulations, Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky, for being an idiot. How about this one? Nissan. This is a good story. Nissan installed a camera surveillance system at the home of the former COO so that the CEO could spy on him.
Ooh.
So supposedly,
this feels very Credit Suisse-y.
Yes, exactly. So CEO Makoto Uchida wanted to spy on him to give him leverage to remove him from the company because of his opposition to some terms in a new partnership deal with Renault. That's pretty specific reason.
Yeah, how fucking boring is that?
I know, but this is great, though. I mean, we need this in our database.
I mean,
Spires, CEO spying quotient or performance rating or something.
You were so disappointed that someone didn't like the terms of a deal that you spied on them. That I mean,
yes.
I don't know. This feels dumb. Like maybe you need to get a different job. Maybe you need to do something else.
UBS plans to gut Credit Suisse by laying off more than half of its workforce, 35,000 workers. So there's the bailout. There's the bailout. 35,000 workers. That's a lot.
That's. I mean, they realized very quickly, like UBS and Credit Suisse had a lot of the same customers.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
They don't need two marketing people, two sales people for all of them. So now you just get rid of most of them. Here's my plea to all you Credit Suisse workers who are leaving with a nice nest egg and you're kind of bored of the institutional corporate world. Come work for us for free. Yeah, love it. I already stopped there. That's enough.
Okay, we'll talk.
We have a lot you can look at and do data work on.
And if you're highly effective at what you're doing, we might give you 0.1% of the equity.
Not even that much. Come on.
Okay. I'm pushing it. We should have talked about that off air. How about this one? Women's tennis promises equal prize money as men's tennis by the year 2033. And can I tell you, Matt, to me, they're the two most famous tennis tournaments in the world, Wimbledon and the U.S. Open here in New York City, right? The U.S. Open in New York has offered equal prize money since 1973. I mean, this is outrageous.
Yeah, this is outrageous.
Outrageous.
And arguably the greatest tennis player of all time is Serena Williams. And we can't get this done. You can't figure out a way to get this done.
That's 50 years ago. 50 years ago. Yeah. They can't figure out how to get it done at the most famous tennis tournament in the absolute world. A couple more before let's call this a segue to hand this off to your segment, Matt. First of all, Bud Light tries to win back conservatives one grunt at a time in a new ad featuring white NFL star Travis Kelce. Matt, this ad just features men grunting and sighing with holding a Bud Light. That's all it is. I watched.
That's correct. Yeah.
I don't even understand. Why is this a plea to conservatives? Well, I don't even understand this.
Because
conservative men are so stupid. Is that it?
Well, Dylan Mulvaney wasn't in it. That's why.
That's it. That's the win.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Okay. I'll come back to this though.
Okay, come back. And finally, I don't really know how this fits into our world, but I had to talk about it because it's another anti-ESG company doing ESG work without a methodology.
Yeah, that's how it fits
proper
in.
ESG companies. And that's a film review website called, what is it called? Worth It or Woke?
Worth It? Yeah, Worth It or Woke.
Just a few tidbits here, okay? This is some examples of wokeness in film. Basically, writing women who are smart. This is according to them. According to them. Woke. Writing women smarter than every male in the film. So basically, Matt, if the men are smarter in the film, that's okay. But if the women are smarter, that's not okay.
Notwithstanding the deep irony that women actually have a higher graduation rate from college and from advanced degrees. They are actually smarter.
They actually are literally smarter.
Literally smarter in the real world. Yeah.
Other examples of wokeness in film, according to their methodologies, Disney's not so secret gay agenda. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what their gay agenda is. Again, another one is a strong, independent woman. This is their words.
Yeah, yeah.
And finally, Vivek would like this last one: manufactured diversity quotas for the sake of diversity over narrative. Mm-hmm. How the hell how do you prove that one?
Well, there's a lot of data on that about how having any black people in your film means you don't care about the narrative of the film.
And I want to point out two films that they call anti-woke, which they're very proud of. The first one is Nefarious, which gets a score of an 81. Again, this is basically ESG ratings, right?
Yeah. That's why we're talking about this. If you're confused why we're talking about ESG ratings are not actually different from like film ratings, from like Yelp reviews.
Except they have robust methodologies.
No. Some of them don't. Let's be clear. Some
the major providers that people are complaining about.
Most people go to like a variety of places to get reviews and information and distill it down into a single rating. And some of those ratings are constructed using vast arrays of data and put a lot of thought into it. And some of them are constructed by one white guy who doesn't like women. That's what I'm saying.
So this movie, Nefarious, gets this very specific score of 81 out of 100. And here's what the movie's about, Matt. On the day of his scheduled execution, a convicted serial killer tells a psychiatrist that he's a demon who can possess his body and that he's going to commit 3 more murders.
That doesn't seem very woke.
This is their idea of good art. And all the one they like is Rob Schneider's Woke Up in America, gets a score of 93. And he says it talks about a lot of issues and that he does it with a lot of dick jokes. These are their words.
There you go.
So this is the world we live in.
That's the world. Well, all right, I'm gonna. I'm gonna segue over, and I'm gonna start us with an addendum to what you just said.
Go ahead.
So, Worth It or Woke? I read too many reviews today. This website. I read a lot of reviews, and here's I think I have the perfect definition for what woke is at last through this company, through this film review site. Okay. So when Ron DeSantis talks about being anti-woke, when Vivek Ramaswamy in Woke Inc., all of the anti-woke conservative movement in this country, banning ESG, I've distilled it down to exactly what this is about.
When they're asked to define woke, they don't have an answer.
Yeah, so they don't have an answer.
You have an answer.
I have an answer for them now. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you some quotes from some of the reviews before I give you the answer. First, in the new Indiana Jones movie, The Dial of Destiny or whatever, which I haven't seen yet, it's considered woke. It was rated as woke because, quote, Phoebe Waller-Bridge's charismatic performance couldn't save Helena, the character, from being an off-putting, stereotypical, strong, independent woman. Basically,
right. Off-putting smart woman.
Yeah. So strong, independent woman and off-putting are keys there, right? Like,
yes, of course.
Being strong and independent woman is off-putting.
How do you portray a smart woman in a movie? Is there any scenario where a smart woman in a movie can be not woke?
There is, from Aliens in
Oh.
1986,
Yeah.
which is considered, it got a 100%, like a near perfect score, or 99% or something.
How
Near
is that
perfect score.
Yeah.
Better than Nefarious.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider tried to make a show
Dick
that
jokes.
was anti-woke. He tried
Anti-woke.
specifically.
It's specifically called woke,
Woke
up in America because he's
America.
railing on
He's
woke
railing
culture.
against woke America.
Yeah, with dick
Aliens,
jokes.
Aliens still better than that, according
Still
to
better.
these reviews.
Despite the fact that it has one of the strongest female protagonists in film history.
Here's the quote, because, quote,
Mm-hmm.
Sigourney Weaver gives a powerful performance.
I don't, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge's performance was charismatic. Why,
The whole
what's-
movie is centered,
Yeah.
Aliens, if you've seen it, the whole movie is
Yeah.
centered around one female protagonist who's smarter than everybody else.
Everything,
And
including the
blows
aliens.
everything up, right? Like, she's shooting things, she's
Yeah.
blowing it up. Like, so it's Aliens, not woke. Indiana
Okay.
Jones, new movie, woke, okay? He actually sums up the
Mm-hmm.
demarcation of wokeness and not wokeness with his review of As Good as It Gets, which, have you seen As Good as It Gets?
Yeah, many moons ago, yes.
It's a movie with Jack Nicholson, who plays an obsessive compulsive and
Yes.
like a pure asshole, like a true,
Yeah,
like,
it's a very tepid white movie. I remember it. It's very
well, it has
boorish.
Cuba Gooding Jr. in it, and Greg
that's what I
Kinnear
said.
as a gay couple. And it's this like weird
believable.
group of people who like get thrown together in this pot,
Okay.
whatever. But this is the quote, okay? It got a 91%. It was considered woke-ish, but a classic movie, and he highly recommends it. Quote,
Wait, woke-ish, but still gets a 91?
still gets a 91. Quote,
Okay.
if this movie was made today, many of us would assume that it was woke. The main
Okay,
character,
I'm already confused, can I just say?
the main character is a white guy, is the one who has to learn how to live life from a woman and a gay man.
That sounds terrible.
That feels woke now, right?
Yeah.
However, while some of its themes are certainly progressive, the film isn't preachy.
And how is that? What's the methodology behind whether it's preachy or not?
It tells the story of a man who is deeply troubled, who is taking it upon himself to be a better man. Sure, his motivation at the beginning is the power of boners. He really likes dicks.
This is the reviewers.
This is
word.
this is word for word. This is a quote.
Jesus Christ.
But in the end, he learns how to love both his heart's desires and platonically his gay neighbor. Right?
I'm glad he threw in platonically, because if he had loved the
would've
gay
been
neighbor
confusing.
in a sexual way, I would have
It
disturbed me.
would have been confusing.
I don't understand this, Matt, because when one is watching or art or listening or looking at art, you're always doing it in the modern day, in the present state. So what does it matter? What does it matter that it would have been woke now if it was made now? I don't understand any of this.
So that is the definition of woke. It is
If it was made
things that white men are triggered by, that they
are made
do
now.
not like, that are made now. The
Even
things that they
though-
like before
Oh my God.
are not going to be woke. Aliens.
Think about that. Think about that hypocrisy right there. That since it was made, since it is a woke movie, but since it was made then, it's fine.
It's
now
fine.
it's
It's
bad.
a classic. He admits
classic.
in the review that if it were made today, it would be woke. And
Right. This is a
because it
terrible-
wasn't made
terrible
today,
person. This is a
which
terrible
means
person.
the definition, basically, the meaning of the word woke is what a white guy says they don't like. That's it. There's no other
That's it.
meaning. That's it. And it
And-
only
and
is what they don't
yeah.
like right now.
Which
This
we
second.
know so far are in no particular order: people of color,
Yep.
gay people, all the
LGBTQ.
whole rainbow of the flag, all and women.
And women, correct. Yeah.
Right.
And in fact,
And those are the three groups I like the most. So there you go.
in fact, I read this awesome article, which I won't go deep into, that suggested that the anti-woke, like anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ plus movement is actually really just all veiled hatred of women, right?
Doesn't surprise me.
It's a great article. We'll talk about it another time. But that's it. That's what woke is. So do you feel informed?
Are you done?
I'm done with that.
No, I don't. Do you want to hand off to Paul before we get out of here?
I have one more addendum for Bud Light.
Yeah.
This is what a commentator had to say about a conservative commentator had to say about the Bud Light ad.
The grunting ad.
The grunting
Men
ad.
grunting.
The ad is literally men opening beers and sitting down and going ugh every time they sit down.
Which I guess is a antidote virus against gay people or trans people or whatever. Wokeism.
The marketing department was like, "What is
grunting.
The opposite of gay?"
So the opposite of being informed and educated is grunting. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Men sitting down and grunting. Here is what a conservative commentator had to say about it. Quote, Bud Light is going for the death blow at this point. This is what they think of their client base, stupid grunting cavemen. So now they don't like it because the men are acting like grunting cavemen. They want them bespeckled, reading Dickens, drinking a Bud Light.
Which is confusing because I would guess that movie website you're talking about would love a movie like Rambo, where it's a man shooting other people, grunting. He doesn't say very much.
I mean,
right?
imagine if Bud Light's...
Wouldn't that be a perfect anti-woke movie?
Imagine if Bud Light's ad was people shooting things and drinking beer. Would that be okay? What is okay?
I would think so.
There are a couple other headlines here that we're way over. So I say we go to Paul and we'll come back to these. But there were some big Supreme Court decisions. We didn't even talk about them.
Well, I assumed we get to those on Friday.
Gutting affirmative action and like debates over a whole thing. But let's go to Paul and then we will catch everybody.
Paul, tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow. You and I will be.
And Friday.
Yeah.
And Friday. Paul Hodgson from S-Gage here to talk about the top 20 increases in CEO perks. Take it away, Paul.
So with the help of the team in New Delhi, we identified the top 20 largest increases in CEO perks between fiscal 21 and fiscal 22. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about the pretty significant median rise in perks for CEOs in the S&P 500. So we tracked down some of the people that were causing that. Now, there's a few, Charles Magro at Corteva, Pierce Norton at OneOK, Richard Beckwith at Lennar, who were hired partway through 2021. So their kind of 1,000% increases in perks was basically due to them having a part year in 2021 and a full year in fiscal 2022. So I dug into the ones where the CEO had been there for the last couple of years just to figure out what was going on and what was causing those pretty significant increases in perks that we identified up to 1,400, nearly 1,500%. And it's really only when you dig into the perks that you start to understand the insanity of CEO pay. So the highest 1,477% increase was for Mark Parvell at, have I got his name right? Where are we here? Mark Parrell, I apologize, at Equity Residential. The real estate company. So this was described as a board match, which he received in 22 rather than 21, of $225,000 to encourage him to get onto another board to expand his skill set. Now, why this company needed to pay him to get onto another board, I'm not sure. Surely it's the other board that he's supposed to get on that is supposed to be paying him. But there you are. See what I mean about the insanity? So the next highest was for Doug Parker at American Airlines, 1,315%. Well, he transitioned to chair of the company rather than CEO. So all other compensation, the perk that was described there was $500,000 for his board chairmanship in 2022 rather than 2021 when he was still CEO. So running down the list, this is going to be a long one because there's some eye-popping figures here. So Doug Parker, we just did him. So Devin Stockfish at Weyerhaeuser Company. Again, the increase was 1,253%, and that was due to $100,000 in security services, which had not been paid in 2021. Perhaps the job got a little more dangerous in 2022. I'm not really sure why. There was no explanation of it, that's for sure. Next one down, 675% increase in perks for Russell Weiner at Domino's. Mostly aircraft, corporate and personal use of aircraft, but also $2,165 worth of pizzas, apparently. Actually, you know what? The increase was from dividends on vesting stock that vested in 2022 rather than 2021, but I couldn't resist that one about the pizzas. So that's in there anyway. So next one down, Exelon, former CEO Christopher Crane, tax reimbursement for double taxation because he worked in more than one state. Tax reimbursement on spousal air travel. Income, I'm trying to read my notes here. Oh, right, okay. Income and reimbursement or on non-qualified pensions. So that was a pension as well. So coming up to retirement, pension went up. Clearly that was a pretty significant increase. Can't see it right here, but it was 825%. Okay. And then we have at Coca-Cola, James Quincy, CEO, 340% increase in pensions. Well, there was no travel in 2021 and then took off again on the corporate jet in 2022 for mostly business travel. Well, actually, and personal travel, it says here in my notes. Well, I don't know what that was about. Maybe it was the pandemic in 2021 that prevented the business and personal travel on the jet. It's a possibility. So at Carnival, Arnold Donald, CEO at Carnival, former CEO and chief climate officer, it said in the proxy statement. How woke is that? So lots more flying, 70,000 compared to 20,000, a 202% increase. But mostly the increase was 150,000 compensation in lieu of savings plan profit sharing contribution. Just great names for everything they have, great names. And then finally, Abbott Labs, Robert Ford, 149% increase. Again, a pension plan causing most of that earnings on non-qualified defined contribution plan. So 240,000 in 2022 compared to just over 8,000 in 2021. So those were some of the biggest ones. I haven't given you all of them. That would be giving everything away. So we're not going to do that. Anyway, so this is Paul Hodgson signing off. S-Gage Statistic of the Week.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, S-Gage. We use S-Gage's data in our
Absolutely.
thing, in our ratings for board members.
Absolutely do. We absolutely do.
We use it. It's great. We're going to be back here again tomorrow and the day after that. And then we're actually going to move to a summer schedule, which we'll talk about sometime soon. I think we're going to do 3 days a week.
What the schedule
when we decide what it is. Until then, goodbye.